primary distinction between Canadian and United States residential main distribution panels lies in how the ground and neutral conductors are connected. Canadian panels feature a dedicated ground bus solely for ground wires, whether bare or green insulated. This ground bus is bonded to the panel enclosure and the grounding electrode. Conversely, the neutral conductors are connected to one or two neutral buses depending on the manufacturer, which are directly connected to the service neutral conductor. An ohmmeter would show continuity between the ground and neutral buses due to their shared connection to the grounding system. In contrast, United States panels typically connect both the ground and neutral conductors to a common bus. Several factors contribute to these differences. The Canadian Electrical Code mandates the separation of ground and neutral conductors. This separation is intended to enhance electrical safety. The ground conductor's primary function is to provide a path for fault current, thereby protecting against electrical shock. The neutral conductor, on the other hand, is designed to carry current under normal operating conditions. Maintaining this separation minimizes the risk of the ground conductor inadvertently carrying current, which could create a hazardous situation. The United States Electrical Code permits the use of a combined neutral ground bus, also known as a single-point ground. This configuration consolidates the ground and neutral connections onto a single busbar. While this approach can save space within the panel and simplify installation, it may not offer the same level of safety as separate ground and neutral buses. Separate ground and neutral buses offer several advantages. Firstly, they provide enhanced protection against electrical shock by preventing the ground conductor from becoming energized under normal conditions. Secondly, they simplify troubleshooting electrical problems. Because the ground and neutral paths are distinct, it is easier to isolate faults and identify the source of the issue. However, separate ground and neutral buses also have some drawbacks. They require more space within the electrical panel, which can be a concern in installations with limited space. Furthermore, installing separate buses may be slightly more expensive due to the need for additional components. The decision to use separate or combined ground and neutral buses ultimately rests with the qualified electrician. The electrician must carefully evaluate the specific requirements of the installation, taking into account factors such as safety, space constraints, and cost to determine the most appropriate wiring configuration. The Canadian Electrical Code Section 10-260 details the requirements for bonding the neutral conductor at the service entrance. The purpose of this bond is to provide a low-impedance path for fault current to return to the source, which helps to trip the overcurrent protection device circuit breaker or fuse and energize the circuit. The United States National Electrical Code (NEC) also requires a similar bonding of the neutral conductor at the service equipment, as specified in NEC Section 250.24. This bonding ensures effective clearing of ground faults and minimizes the risk of electrical shock. In both Canadian and US electrical systems, the grounding electrode system plays a critical role in providing a path to earth for fault currents. This system typically consists of one or more grounding electrodes, such as ground rods, ground plates, or metal water pipes, that are connected to the grounding bus in the electrical panel. The grounding electrode system helps to stabilize the voltage to earth and provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, thereby facilitating the operation of overcurrent protection devices. The size of the grounding electrode conductor is determined by the size of the service entrance conductors, as specified in NEC Table 250.66 and the Canadian Electrical Code Rule 10-812. The grounding electrode conductor must be sized to adequately carry the available fault current. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the source, while bonding ensures that all metal parts of the electrical system are at the same potential, minimizing the risk of electrical shock. Regular inspections and maintenance of the grounding and bonding system are crucial to ensure its effectiveness. In addition to the differences in grounding and neutral wiring, there are also variations in other aspects of residential electrical systems between Canada and the United States. These differences may include wiring methods, overcurrent protection requirements, and appliance standards. For example, the Canadian Electrical Code allows for the use of armored cable AC cable in some applications where it is not permitted in the United States. Similarly, there may be differences in the types of circuit breakers and fuses that are approved for use in each country. It is important for electricians and homeowners to be aware of these differences and to comply with the applicable electrical codes and standards in their respective jurisdictions. Failure to comply with these requirements can result in safety hazards and code violations. When working on electrical systems, it is always essential to follow safe work practices such as energizing circuits before working on them, using appropriate personal protective equipment (PPE), and verifying the absence of voltage with a reliable voltage tester. Electrical work should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who have the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform the work safely and correctly. The color coding of electrical wires also differs slightly between Canada and the United States. In both countries, the ground wire is typically green or bare, and the neutral wire is typically white or gray. However, the color coding for hot wires on grounded conductors may vary. In the United States, the most common color coding for hot wires is black, red, and blue, while in Canada, the most common color coding is black, red, and blue for 120/240 volt systems and red, black, and blue for 347/600 volt systems. It is important to be aware of these color coding differences when working on electrical systems in either country to avoid confusion and potential hazards. Another important consideration is the ampacity of electrical wires. Ampacity refers to the maximum amount of current that a wire can safely carry without overheating. The ampacity of a wire depends on its size, insulation type, and installation conditions. Both the Canadian Electrical Code and the United States National Electrical Code provide tables that specify the ampacity of different types of wires under various conditions. It is essential to select wires with the appropriate ampacity for the intended application to prevent overheating and potential fire hazards. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits. These devices are rated in amps and are designed to trip or blow when the current exceeds their rating. It is important to select overcurrent protection devices with the appropriate rating for the circuit they are protecting. Using an overcurrent protection device with too high of a rating can allow excessive current to flow through the circuit, which can damage equipment and create a fire hazard. The Canadian Electrical Code and the United States National Electrical Code provide guidelines for selecting the appropriate overcurrent protection devices for different types of circuits. In addition to grounding, bonding, and overcurrent protection, surge protection is another important aspect of electrical safety. Surge protection devices (SPD) are designed to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges which can be caused by lightning strikes, power outages, or other electrical disturbances. SPD work by diverting excess voltage away from sensitive electronic equipment such as computers, televisions, and appliances. It is recommended to install SPD at the service entrance and at individual circuits to provide comprehensive surge protection. The Canadian Electrical Code and the United States National Electrical Code provide guidelines for selecting and installing SPD. Electrical inspections are an important part of ensuring the safety of electrical systems. Electrical inspections are typically performed by qualified electrical inspectors who are employed by local or regional authorities. During an electrical inspection, the inspector will examine the electrical system to ensure that it complies with the applicable electrical codes and standards. If any violations are found, the inspector will issue a notice of violation, which must be corrected within a specified time frame. Regular electrical inspections can help to identify potential safety hazards and ensure that electrical systems are properly installed and maintained. Arc fault circuit interrupters of size are a type of circuit breaker that is designed to protect against arc faults. Arc faults are dangerous electrical faults that can cause fires. Size work by detecting the unique characteristics of arc faults and tripping the circuit breaker to energize the circuit. SIs are required in many areas of the home, such as bedrooms, living rooms, and dining rooms, to provide enhanced protection against arc fault fires. Ground fault circuit interrupters GFCIs are another type of circuit breaker that is designed to protect against ground faults. Ground faults occur when current leaks from an electrical circuit to ground. GFCIs work by detecting ground faults and tripping the circuit breaker to de-energize the circuit. GFCIs are required in areas where there is a high risk of electric shock, such as bathrooms, kitchens, and outdoor areas. Tamper-resistant receptacles are electrical outlets that are designed to prevent children from inserting objects into the receptacle slots. Tamper-resistant receptacles have a built-in safety mechanism that prevents objects from being inserted unless both slots are depressed simultaneously. Tamper-resistant receptacles are required in new construction and renovations to protect children from electrical shock. The height at which electrical receptacles are installed is also regulated by electrical codes. The purpose of these regulations is to ensure that receptacles are accessible and safe to use. The specific height requirements may vary depending on the location of the receptacle and the applicable electrical code. For example, receptacles installed in countertops are typically required to be installed at a higher height than receptacles installed on walls. The spacing of electrical receptacles is also regulated by electrical codes. The purpose of these regulations is to ensure that there are enough receptacles to meet the needs of the occupants and to prevent the use of extension cords, which can be a safety hazard. The specific spacing requirements may vary depending on the location of the receptacle and the applicable electrical code. For example, receptacles installed along walls are typically required to be spaced no more than 12 feet apart. The type of wiring methods that are permitted for use in electrical installations is also regulated by electrical codes. The specific wiring methods that are permitted may vary depending on the location of the installation and the applicable electrical code. Some common wiring methods include non-metallic sheaths cable NM cable, metal-clad cable MC cable, and conduit. Each wiring method has its own advantages and disadvantages, and the choice of wiring method will depend on the specific requirements of the installation. The size of electrical boxes is also regulated by electrical codes. The purpose of these regulations is to ensure that there is enough space inside the box to accommodate the wires and devices that are being installed. The size of the box will depend on the number and size of the wires and devices that are being installed. The Canadian Electrical Code and the United States National Electrical Code provide tables that specify the minimum size of electrical boxes for different applications. The labeling of electrical panels and circuits is an important part of electrical safety. Electrical panels should be clearly labeled to indicate the function of each circuit breaker. This will help to prevent confusion and ensure that the correct circuit breaker is turned off when performing electrical work. Circuits should also be labeled to indicate the loads that they serve. This will help to prevent overloading circuits and ensure that the electrical system is operating safely. Regular maintenance of electrical systems is essential for ensuring their safety and reliability. Regular maintenance should include inspecting electrical panels, receptacles, and switches for signs of damage or wear. Loose connections should be tightened and damaged components should be replaced. It is also important to keep electrical panels clean and free of debris. Proper planning and design are essential for creating a safe and efficient electrical system. The electrical system should be designed to meet the needs of the occupants and to comply with all applicable electrical codes and standards. The design should also take into account future needs, such as the addition of new appliances or equipment. A well-designed electrical system will provide years of reliable service and will help to prevent electrical hazards. The use of energy-efficient lighting and appliances can help to reduce energy consumption and save money on utility bills. Energy-efficient lighting and appliances use less energy than traditional lighting and appliances, which can significantly reduce energy costs over time. Energy-efficient lighting and appliances also help to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, which can benefit the environment. Training and education are essential for electricians and other electrical workers. Electricians should receive comprehensive training in electrical theory, wiring methods, and safety procedures. They should also stay up to date on the latest electrical codes and standards. Proper training and education will help to ensure that electricians are able to perform their work safely and correctly. Public awareness campaigns can help to educate the public about electrical safety. These campaigns can provide information about common electrical hazards and how to prevent them. They can also promote the use of safe electrical practices, such as using tamper-resistant receptacles and testing ground fault circuit interrupters regularly. Public awareness campaigns can help to reduce the number of electrical injuries and fatalities. Collaboration between industry, government, and consumers is essential for improving electrical safety. Industry can develop and promote safe electrical products and practices. Government can enact and enforce electrical codes and standards. Consumers can educate themselves about electrical safety and take steps to protect themselves and their families from electrical hazards. Collaboration between these groups can help to create a safer electrical environment for everyone.